And we're recording once again. Good morning, Ken. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing, Fenton. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing amazing as well. Let's get into this crazy show. Welcome to Products of Circumstance, everyone, the podcast with Ken Skeen. He's over there. And myself, Fenton Joseph. We discuss mental health and mindset matters through the lens of Black men. We cover topics like family and relationship trauma, relationships with money, self-worth, positive thinking, gratefulness, and so much more. The show is unscripted, unfiltered, and mostly unedited. We choose our topics randomly. By the way, that's not a joke. We literally pick them every time we talk. Only Ken knows what we're going to talk about. I have no idea. And we're going to get into that. Just a shoulder shrug. We're going to get into that in just a second. But before we do, Wakanda forever, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Most importantly, y'all, please share. Okay. If you get something from this that helps you on your personal development journey, please share it with somebody else that's on their journey as well. All right, my brother. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, people think we're joking with that when we say it's unscripted, unedited, and we have Fenton has no clue what we're talking about. I pretty much picked the topic 30 seconds before we started hitting record. Right. That's why we're both laughing so hard right now. So the topic will be networking. We're going to go with networking today.
Come on. I'm talking to the guy. Come on. That's what I do. That's what I do.
This is what I do. What you got, Fenton? What you got? What you got on networking?
Listen, I tell people all the time, I built my business on coffee and lunch. Okay. When I started my business in 2018 full time, I didn't know anybody. I was up here in Westchester. I had to figure out how to meet people, not necessarily how to meet clients, but how to meet people that can introduce me to clients. Because if there's one thing I know, it's not always that first level relationship. It's the secondary, tertiary relationship. I know a guy, I know a gal who knows a gal, and that might be your customer. So what I did was I went in the phone book. Well, okay, it's not the phone book. It's Google. I'm old. We used to call it a phone book. We used to go in the white pages, yellow pages. So y'all know I'm a music producer. So I hit up music studios in the area. That was the first thing I did. And I said, okay, let me go get in touch with people who are in the music industry because I know I'm instantly gonna gel with them. So I was focused on creating community. I wasn't focused on trying to find clients. I was trying to find people who are like me, my tribe, that I could go gel with, be cool with, because I know that when we're cool, know, like, and trust the person, they'll introduce you to anybody. So the first person that I linked up with is an amazing friend of mine now. His name is Pop, and he owns a recording studio in New Rochelle. Shout out to Pop. And we became very fast friends. And I got so much out of that. The interns that I work with every year through the Summer Youth Employment Program, which is a New York City backed program for like internships for kids and college kids, whatever. Like that came through him. He had interns and he was like, yo, you should do this program too. I'm into nonprofits. The whole thing just snowballed and it ended up making so much sense and being so much aligned with what I was trying to do in my business. And it all came from me hitting up Google, typing in, music studios and just getting to know people. I got a client from doing that as well, another recording studio in White Plains. And I could go on and on with all the different examples, but let it suffice to say, let's back up a little bit. What is networking?
What, the actual definition? Well, all right, so my definition of network would be getting in contact with similar people in your industry. Actually, that's bull. Yeah, that's the first step of it.
Sure.
You also want to be in contact with other people outside of your industry. I'll talk sales for a second because that's what I do now for 12 years, right?
Do that, yeah.
So at one point when I first started in sales, maybe 6 months into the business, I was on the floor. I was able to meet this very nice gentleman who worked for Con Ed. He's one of the I guess district managers of Con Ed in Manhattan or the boroughs itself. And we did such a great job with his sale that I was able to, call him a week later and say, thank you for your business. Listen, if I was able to show you everything that you wanted to give you this positive experience, is there anyone that maybe friends or family are looking for a vehicle? Like I said, this gentleman, was a district manager for Con Ed in New York. In the first 6 years of my career. I'm still friends with him to this day.
Awesome.
I was able to meet probably 40 of his coworkers. I sold about 30 of them their vehicles. His father, his father-in-law, his brother-in-law, his wife, his daughters, his in-laws, like just from networking from this one gentleman.
One guy.
One gentleman. Yeah. I was able to get into those different contacts. When it comes to my woodworking, the people I've met through woodworking, other carpenters or just other facets of life, whether it be in business or mechanics or whatever it may be, doctors, lawyers, and through networking from the car business, I was able to help people with different pieces of furniture that they needed in their homes or their offices, just from, again, networking. So when you ask for the definition of networking, I guess it's just having a common aspect or a common thread on life of, how can we help each other? You scratch my back, I scratch yours, and just bouncing ideas off each other. It doesn't always have to be a monetary thing. It'd be just like an educational thing. Yeah. Which I think is big as well.
So to that point, I'm glad that you ended on that point. I'm going to read, I just pulled it up, like the dictionary definition. The action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. I'm going to repeat that again for everybody. Networking is defined as the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. So again, for somebody like me who had a new business and knew nobody in the area, I needed to go and develop professional contacts. I needed to meet people. For a good while, I was spending money on coffee dates and lunch dates. And my wife would be like, what do you do at these meetings when you meet with people? I'm like, we just talk, get to know each other. And she's like, yeah, but you're not making any money. It's like, yeah, well, no, the point of networking is not to make money. The point of networking is to develop relationships. And through the relationships, the money will come, because through the relationships, you get opportunities, you can get referrals, introduced to other people that might be prospects or might know prospects. Anyone who's successful in business will tell you that it's all about relationships. If you're not focused on meeting people who can get you in front of the right people who can put money in your pocket or who can open doors for you to put you in position to put money in your pocket, then you're kind of focusing on the wrong thing. Let it suffice to say that you should first of all have the skills that you need, right? I'm a web designer. I should know how to build websites. You're a salesperson. You should know how to sell. But I can't build a website for anyone unless I meet people who need websites. And you can't sell to anyone unless you meet people who need cars.
Right.
So how do we position ourselves in front of those people? We have to network. Now that can come in the form of, for me, I was in networking groups for a while. I would meet up with people in the morning, and we would spend an hour going around the room, introducing ourselves, talking a little bit about what we do and who we're looking to meet. And then the rest of the time would be spent with what we call one-on-ones, which is you and I doing exactly this, just getting to know each other. Hey, man, tell me, about your upbringing. Tell me about your family. How'd you learn to do what you do? How'd you get into what you do? Why do you do what you do? For me, when it comes to networking, I really try to learn a lot about the other person. And I'm gonna share something. Shout out to Lisa Snow, who is running an awesome networking group up here in Westchester. And just yesterday, I was on a call with her, and she shared an amazing perspective on networking. If you think of yourself, I don't even know if I should put this out there, because I don't want to be putting her content out there, into the world. So I'm gonna dial back, because I need to be fair to her, because it's a paid group. What I will say is this: try to listen more than you speak. Okay, listen more than you speak. Make sure that you're truly trying to understand what the other person's needs are. Ask questions. If Ken, you say, I'm in car sales and I'm interested in meeting people who need cars. Okay, well, I could ask you about what's your favorite brand of car, or what's the most challenging thing about the work that you do? What are the highlights of the work that you do? How'd you get into the work? How does your family feel about the work that you do? Like there are so many different ways that you can go deeper than just surface level. Okay, yeah, all right. You tell me what dealership you work at, and like what brand, and just like super surface things.
Right.
But when you get deeper and you kind of allow people to speak, because everyone wants to hear themselves talk. That's why I talk so much. I think I sound great. I love the sound of my voice. No, I'm just kidding. We as people naturally want to hear ourselves talk. You have to fight that if you're going to be a good networker. If you want to be good at networking, you have to get really good at listening, the whole 2 ears and one mouth thing. Let people share with you their challenges, their fears, their hopes and dreams. Take mental notes of that information so that way you can show them that you're actually listening, that you actually care about what they're saying.
Right.
And it's my belief that when you can make that genuine connection with somebody by being an active listener, by showing that you care, taking the time to follow up with them, reach out. Oh, I remember on our call, you said, your birthday was, next month on this date. Let me reach out and say happy birthday. Hey, I remember that you said you were sick, how you doing? I mean, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. Networking takes a lot of time, and it's serious. It's serious business. The business of networking is very serious because these are relationships that need to be nurtured. A relationship with another human being that's no small thing. Our relationship that we have, like, this goes back quite some time. And there have been times when we've watered and nurtured that relationship more so than other times. We're in a season of our lives now where we're doing a lot of watering and a lot of nurturing of our relationship right now. And that's going to pay off. Not just because we have a great friendship, but because the endeavors that we're taking on, we know that there's going to be grace for one another as we fumble through this podcast journey together. There's going to be trust in one another. We're going to be willing to do things for one another that maybe we might not have if we hadn't taken the time to nurture our relationship and develop that trust. Like, these are the things that are intangibles that ultimately result in money and opportunities to, transactional opportunities. But all that other stuff that I mentioned has nothing to do with money. So I'll say this last thing and I'll shut up. I really hope that when people think about networking, they think about relationship building and not about money, because it is not about the money at all. And that's all I got.
I want to circle back around on where you ended was nice. The relationship building. So the big part of networking, before you even read the definition, I was explaining about building relationships and, showing others that you actually do care. The whole 2 ears, 1 mouth, that's big in sales. That's huge. I don't care what industry you're in. You have to actually want to care what the other person's saying. You want to listen to what they're saying so you can actually respond with something other than nice eyes. You're not just staring at them, waiting for them to finish talking. You're actually listening and paying attention so that you can have a real conversation, something deeper than, like you said, where do you work? Where do you live? How's your family? When it comes to network, you want to go deeper. You want to have that whole, all right. So like growing up, my father, one big thing with my dad, he was in construction. He was a contractor, had his business, and a lot of his meetings were at different restaurants. So I'd be at Ruth Chris Steakhouse or Pomodorino's, is a nice Italian restaurant, or a Portuguese restaurant, wherever it may be. We're a lot of different steakhouses. And his big thing to me was always find out who the maitre d' is, or find out who the manager is. Always find out who the person at the top is. When you have to stay at a hotel, find out who the general manager is. Always find the person at the top and get to know them, get their card, network with them. And like you mentioned before, it's a big one also. It's funny you said it. Find out when their birthday is. Find out if they, if they have an anniversary, and do that little text message or an email or a phone call, whatever it may be in today's world. of just shooting them a text or an email saying, happy birthday, happy anniversary. Just want to let you know you are on my mind. How's everything going? But do it with purpose. You know what I'm saying? Network with purpose, because the person on the other end will know whether or not you're being fake.
Yeah.
You know? So you want to be able to feed off each other and not just be, sucking the life out of them.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to contribute as well. But yeah, it was nice that you brought up that point with, being able to communicate and really putting the time in to feed or to water, the friendships that you're building. You never know. Someone that you met. I remember a previous episode, Fenton, you were talking about someone when you were a waiter that you met that was a businessman, and you sought to network with him, and now he's one of your clients.
Yeah.
So you can meet someone 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago that ends up being a client for a different aspect or job or career that you're in later on in life. And now you've watered that seed, and now you can, I don't want to say use, but you can take to your advantage your fruits of labor.
Yeah.
So that's a big one as well.
I love that you talked about being fake or not being fake. Like, people can sniff that stuff out. I mean, not everybody can, I'll be honest. But more often than not, people know when you're being phony. If you just transactional relationships they're the worst. They're the worst. I mean, if you're going to McDonald's, you don't need to develop a relationship with the cashier. I get it. But, if you go to like your local restaurant, it's a different thing. You probably want to develop a relationship with the maitre d', you want to be able to establish a long-term relationship that is going to be beneficial for both parties. Like you said, you go find the maitre d'. All right, you schmooze a little bit, so forth and so on. It's not just so that you can get comped. You know what I'm saying? Like, what about them? Are you tipping extra? Every time you go, are you making sure that the wait staff is taken care of? Are you telling other people about this amazing restaurant, that treats you so well? Are you putting it out on your social media, or every time somebody says, hey, Fenton, what's a good restaurant in Westchester that I should go to? Oh, you got to try this place. My kid, she goes to a school, and one of the other parents, he runs a restaurant. He runs a couple restaurants here in Westchester. And I was like, dude, we're definitely going to come through. Well, I'm not just coming through so I could be like, hey, man, our kids go to school together. Like, can I get a free steak? You're like, no, I'm going to come through. I'm going to genuinely support. I wholly intend to pay full. If I do this Neil deGrasse Tyson thing one more time, anyway. I'm going to genuinely support. I wholly expect to pay full price. I'm going to tip well, and I'm sure that it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to tell people about it. I'm going to do my part first without expecting anything in return. And I think that, a lot of times people are fake because they just want to do the bare minimum in that relationship nurturing to get something out of it. And that's not right. That's not how this is done. You leave it all on the floor. You lay it all out. Do as much as you can to help the other person first. How about to help the other person, period? Because even saying first implies that there's something that you're expecting on the back end.
Right.
And that shouldn't be the case. There are some people that you're going to meet in networking that, you have absolutely nothing in common with. Your industries may be completely different and non-complementary, and there may be no reason for either of you to maybe send referrals to one another other than, hey, I know somebody who needs a plumber and I'm going to send them your way because I'm a website designer. So we don't complement one another, but I can still ask everybody that I know, do you have a plumber? Do you have a plumber? Right? And I'll say this last thing. Get comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable. If you're an introvert, I'm an introvert. I'm the biggest introvert. No one's a bigger introvert than me. Let me do my little Donald Trump. No one's a bigger introvert than me. Right? But I'm an amazing networker because I know that I should expect angst going into every meeting. I just deal with it. All right, get the jitters out because you know what? I'm there to help somebody else. I'm not there for me. I'm going into this meeting to go meet people that I can help and bring value to. So if I don't show up, like we talked about in the last one, who's losing out if I don't show up? If I sit there in the corner and I don't open my mouth and I just wait for somebody to come and talk to me and I just, there's a drink in my hand the whole night, all those people missed out on all of my awesomeness because I know I'm awesome. I have a lot to bring to the table and they didn't get any of that because I'm an introvert. Open your mouth, go help people, be of service. Think about yourself as a servant. You're a servant. You're there to help other people. And we all know it's better to give than to receive. So when you're giving, you're going to get it back eventually.
Tenfold.
100-fold.
It's scientifically proven.
Science. Science, baby.
4 out of 5 dentists recommend it.
Myself included.
Well, sir.
I almost spilled my coffee.
Amazing talk with you as usual.
Great to talk with you too, man. Let's go do some networking. We could meet some people.
But yes. So what does the teleprompter say now?
Oh, okay. One last thing. Y'all, if you want to, and I will place our Instagram handles, yours, Ken's, and mine, on here. Network with us. You can hit us up. We're also on LinkedIn. You can find us there. I'll put that information in the YouTube page description. Network with us. And, that's a good way to get started.
There you go.
All right. My brother.
Always a pleasure, sir. Remember to subscribe and like and share if you find a gem
one of these
that
days,
can help someone.
Actually put something here where we're pointing. I'm getting better at this video stuff. We'll
remember if you heard something in today's episode that can help you or someone else, just to share it with them. And please like, subscribe. Find us on YouTube, of course, where you're watching this.
Let's do it. Peace, my brother.
Peace.